New Zealand has no COVID-19 patients in hospital and only 21 active cases remain.
Here's a summary of the article.
New Zealand does not have a single person in hospital with COVID-19, as the country marks 5 consecutive days without a new case. At the latest COVID-19 update, Director General of Health Dr. Ashley Bloomfield said the one person who had been in hospital with the coronavirus had been discharged, meaning there was no longer anybody receiving hospital care for it. There has now been 5 days with no new cases, and there has been just one case in the past week. There have been no further deaths and one further person is listed as recovered from the virus in New Zealand. Dr. Bloomfield said New Zealand's labs processed 4,279 tests yesterday, bringing the total to 267,435. He said New Zealand was staying at alert level 2 to be certain that there was no further spread of COVID-19 and also to ensure border procedures were safe and secure. Dr. Bloomfield said there were now more than 17,000 QR posters in businesses around New Zealand that worked with the app.
This post received a score of 58,000, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Mongolia for the win with 0 cases and 0 deaths.
That's really impressive.
They went super hardcore lockdown very early on. If I'm correct, they shut down things like back in January.
Sounds like they learned from Plague Inc.
Somebody coughs in Brazil. Madagascar closes every possible contact with the world and shuts everything down.
I'm from Madagascar. Madagascar didn't shut down until much too late. IMO. We are starting to see numbers rise, and with our crumbling infrastructure and lack of gov support, we're in for a scary ride.
It hurts when life doesn't imitate art. In the game Plague Inc., Madagascar was the most difficult country to take.
That's why you pimp out transmission before letting symptoms get too noticeable. Get a high infection rate, get it everywhere, then convert them to kills.
If you do that, you get a really cool Easter egg where conspiracy theorists claim there is a pandemic and the government does not believe them. If you keep it without symptoms for the entire game, eventually research starts because people cave to the conspiracy. But there may also be a chance you are simply never discovered. It is a really cool path to take though, highly recommended.
I played this game when it first came out. Was a lot of fun, but not as in-depth as what I am getting from you good people years later. Maybe I'll wait to play again when actual pandemic is in the rear view. Hopefully then I can enjoy trying to kill off Madagascar.
Why are there so many stories about New Zealand's, Taiwan's success in fighting the virus and so few stories about Vietnam's? It has a higher population density than both the US and UK and is literally right next to China.
Vietnam has done well due to early action, creating campaigns that painted the virus as an enemy, and provoking the public to consider it a war with an invisible foe. Also, dissent is illegal AF there, so none of this conspiracy nonsense was even remotely tolerated. People wore their masks.
Greater than also dissent is illegal AF there, so none of this conspiracy nonsense was even remotely tolerated. People wore their masks. I live in NZ, and although not quite extreme as Vietnam, we did quite well making sure we followed safety guidelines. Still had our fair share of people who were against lockdown, but
I've met a lot of your New Zealanders, and I gotta say I haven't met a single person from New Zealand and said, wow, that person is fucking stupid. They've all been kind and pretty intelligent. I'm sure y'all got some stupid folks, every country does. But I could see how NZ was effective. I'm American but live overseas. I run across Americans all the time and I walk away going, wow, that person's a fucking idiot.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.